In this video, we're going to talk about how affirmations can shift your self-care. My name is Kahdija Imari, and I'm a self-care and lifestyle strategist, and I mentor ambitious moms, wives, career women, entrepreneurs who need help prioritizing their self-care and who need help prioritizing their peace and doing more self-care in real life. I'm talking consistent, practical, unapologetic, consistent. Did I say consistent? Intentional. That's the other one. Okay, let's hop into this content. So, how affirmations can shift your self-care. Number one, this is my iPad. I got my notes here. You see all these notes I got? All of these are not for today's video. This is just a smidgen of this is for today's video, so don't freak out. So, affirmations can shift your self-care because it can go from you essentially not doing self-care to you doing more self-care than what you think you're actually doing. Here's what I mean by that. The act of thinking about affirmations, the act of telling yourself affirmations or writing down affirmations, that act in and of itself is a self-care act. You are actively nurturing your mind. You're nurturing your heart, your spirit, that child, that inner child that is still within you. You are nurturing that whenever you are engaging in writing affirmations, speaking affirmations, reading affirmations. If you're scrolling on Instagram or Fanbase and you're reading affirmation content, like you're already engaging in that. You're already engaging in that. So that is already some self-care right there. Now, the thought process of doing affirmations can actually shift your perspective, your mindset from negative to positive. And it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a fast process. I would say that process does take time, especially it's going to depend on how aggressive you are with your affirmation journey, if you will. But yeah, I would say that you can definitely go, because I've done it. I know it's happened to me. I've done it at least twice. Yeah, I've done it at least twice where I've shifted my whole mindset from a very negative space into a high, way more positive space. Like my headspace was not positive initially. That I can tell you. But me diving deep into the affirmation practice for sure shifted my mindset and my outlook. And then I was able to go and chase after those things and do those things and make those things come true for my life. The things that I was saying that I was desiring, I actually had the gumption, the self-belief, the willingness, the worthiness, the self-value, the self-esteem. I had those things over time to be able to go and execute so that the things that I was saying out of my mouth could actually manifest and be true in my life. I started doing the things that were necessary. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, how affirmations can shift your self-care, because they can shift it because your thought process will change. It'll go from negative to positive. And how I wrote it down right here. You can go from not thinking of yourself for self-care to you thinking about you is your second thought, right? So if we think our first thought is not about us, our second thought is about self. And then over time, as you've progressed from the first thought, we would never think of ourselves. Second thought, what do I think I want here? Or what might be best for me? Do I need to rest? To now, you are your first consideration. As soon as somebody proposes something to you, presents an option to you, you then say, is that really for me? Do I feel like doing that? Do I want to do that? Does this line up with the goals I have for my life, the desire, the outlook, the lifestyle I desire to live? You consider yourself first. So it's like, if we think about standing in a line, We're standing in a line where we could be anywhere standing in a line. We could be at an amusement park, at the grocery store. Think about the worst place that you can think of where you're standing in a line and you're not excited to be in this line particularly, but you're in this line nonetheless, and you're just waiting. Well, there's different positions in the line, right? There's people who are immediately at the cash register. There's people who are like the second person in the line, the third person, the fourth person, the 12th person, the 20th person, right? Especially some of those lines at Costco can get very long. Oh my gosh. But that's neither here nor there. But you're in this line. And so if you're in this line of life and the line is you getting ready to check out self-care, you're going to purchase you some self-care, right? Are you thinking of yourself first? And if the answer is no, where are you in that line, right? Because that's the truth of the matter. If you're putting other people in front of you, you're giving them access to all of your energy. And so you're pushing yourself towards the end of the line, but you're running on E. You need a refill. You're not close enough in the line to get the refill. What are you going to do? Are you going to jump out of line and run to the front real quick, get a little pick me up, and then come back and get back in that same spot in line? Like, what are you going to do? And so what affirmations can do for you is it can work on your mindset so that you get to the place where your first inclination anytime something happens is not to be the 50th person in line. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Affirmations can help you start to make your line shorter or make your place in your line shorter, because you're controlling this whole store. You are in control of your life. As much as you can be, you are in control of your life, right? We're not in control of every single thing, but you do make decisions every day that contribute to the life that you are currently living. You made a lot of decisions last year that have led you to exactly where you are today. You made a lot of decisions 5 years ago that led you to exactly where you are right now today. So you do have a lot more control over your life than what you think you might have. And so own it. Like, take that power back. Even if you don't feel like, if you're listening to me right now and you don't even believe that you have power over your life or some level of ounce of control over your life, affirmations can help you start to believe that you do, that you can, that you have the ability to, that you are worthy to take some sort of a front row seat in your own life, right? So those are some ways that affirmations can shift your self-care. So I wrote down here, you go from saying to thinking to believing to doing. I want to break that down just a little bit. Saying to thinking to believing to doing. So I mentioned in a previous video that we hear things on repeat. Things are just around us and we consume it, and it's repetitive, and eventually we find ourselves thinking about those things. It's unconscious because we've heard it so many times. We just find ourselves start thinking about it. Have you ever listened to a song on the radio and then all of a sudden you hear this song all the time on the radio? You don't really like the song, but you've heard it so many times out and about or wherever, where have you. And now you're nowhere near a radio. You are just somewhere living your life. You might be at work, you're wherever, and you just start humming that song and you like, why am I humming that song? I didn't even know I knew that song. Like, I don't even like that song. Why am I humming that song? That's your brain at work, okay? It is picking up on all the information that is around you and it is regurgitating it. So if you intentionally tell yourself some positive affirmations, at least neutral affirmations at a minimum, right? What we don't need is the negativity. We don't need to believe that we are not worthy, that we are, that we're not worthy, that we don't have time, that we, I'm calming myself down because I can feel like I can get worked up over this stuff and I don't need to go on a tangent in this video right now. So I'm gonna keep it short. You don't have to believe that you are unworthy, that you are not valued, that you are not supported, that you don't have time. You do not have to believe those things. You can choose to resolve those types of problems, those mental blocks that are hindering you from doing self-care. It's not you physically aren't doing the self-care. So where is the problem? The problem might be somewhere in your mind, somewhere in your thought process. It might be somewhere in your belief system. What do you believe you deserve about self-care? Do you even think you deserve it at all? Believe you deserve it at all? Why don't you believe that? What might you have been told when you were younger? What might you have been told as an adult? Are you being told that you should work harder, go home later? Like, what are you being told? Are you being told that you should do more for your husband, more for your kids? Like, at what cost? Like, you have to start to think about, where is your mindset? What do you actually believe about self-care and where you fit in with self-care? And then you can begin to address those things specifically by using affirmations. And eventually, when you say them enough times, you hear them enough times, you start to think about them. And as you continue to think upon those positive and at least neutral things about self-care and how you are deserving of it and you are worthy of it, then eventually you will start to actually believe the words that you have been thinking, i.e. the words that you have been saying. You will start to believe that, and then eventually you will start to act on those beliefs. So that is how affirmations can shift your self-care. Let me see. Do I have another point down here? Not doing self-care. Not saying I deserve to do some more self-care. Yeah. I would be willing to bet money that if you are a person who doesn't do self-care, you are also probably a person who doesn't outwardly say or inwardly think, oh yeah, I deserve to go do some self-care right about now. That's just what I believe. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to catch you in the next one.